Hello and welcome to the Live Life Extraordinary podcast. My name is Bianca. I'm a business owner, yoga teacher, holistic nutritionist, and retreat host. My mission is to guide you in creating a life of true fulfillment and lasting happiness. I teach practical tools that help you live with purpose and consciously create the life of your dreams. If you're looking to uplevel your mindset, your confidence, your relationships, your abundance, your spirituality, and so much more, then you've come to the right place. Think of this podcast as your personal roadmap to transforming your life from ordinary to extraordinary. I know that in such a short time, you will experience transformation beyond your wildest dreams. Thank you so much for pressing play today. Now let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Live Life Extraordinary podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I kind of just discovered called micro habits. I didn't learn this from like a creator or a coach or a therapist or anything. It was just kind of something that I started naturally implementing on my own, and it's been really powerful in shifting my life. So, when I say micro habits, I'm not talking about showing up at the gym every day for an hour, and I'm not talking about going from building a business with 0 people to 6 figures in a year. I'm not talking about like completely healing yourself or, decluttering your whole home or like whatever your goals are. I'm not talking about doing all of these things all at once. So for me, I recently, at the start of this year, started a second job as a nutritionist during the day, and I still have my studio in the evenings and on weekends. And it's left me with a lot less time to keep up on my home or, practice self care for myself or work on projects that I'm really passionate about. And I think a lot of times we get stuck in this all or nothing thinking. Like, let's say you want to lose weight. This is like a common thing that people talk about wanting to do. And it's like, oh, well, I have to eat healthy and I have to exercise. And so I'm going to work out for 30 minutes a day every single day. And then, the day comes where life is too busy or you don't feel good or you have whatever kind of obstacle in the way and you don't get to doing that habit. And then as soon as we miss one day, we immediately kind of just like give up. We are like, I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I couldn't make change. And we kind of give up on ourselves. And I think so many of us feel like we have to take these big, giant steps in order to make any progress. But really, any small bit of progress in the right direction is still progress. So for me, what this looks like for a while when I started was every day I woke up and I would just like do 10 minutes of yoga. And it didn't have to be core work or a fusion of Pilates or something to get my heart rate up. It was just something to get my body out of bed and kind of awaken for the day. And then it kind of started growing where it was like my house was getting out of control. I wasn't able to keep up on cleaning or laundry or anything like that. And so then I would say, okay, so for 10 minutes before I go to bed, I'm just going to do as much as I can for 10 minutes. And it might seem like, well, everything's a disaster or I have a big goal. And so 10 minutes isn't going to be that much time. But again, small steps equal big changes. 10 minutes of progress is better than no progress at all. So if you can find 10 minutes in the morning when you wake up or 10 minutes after your lunch break, if you work from home or something, or 10 minutes right when you get home from work, or 10 minutes before you go to bed. And it doesn't have to be all of these. It doesn't have to equal an hour a day or anything, but just 10-minute chunks in your day to start making progress in the right direction. You'll start to notice things changing pretty quickly. So Another example of this in my personal life is that when I would cook, I would typically, if something had to go in the oven or if it had to boil or something, I would sit down like at my kitchen counter or on my couch and like watch a show or go on my phone or something. And I was like really thinking about what my goals and desires were for myself. And one of the things that I really wanted was to be more physically active. So now when I'm cooking, I put my timer on and I do 10 minutes of some sort of physical movement. That could be like squats, or it could be stretching, or a combination of things. I can lift some light weights. Actually, recently, I thought this was kind of funny. I wanted to lift some light weights while I was cooking, and I didn't want to go get weights from the other room. So I used like my cast iron pan, which is pretty heavy. And it was just enough weight for me to do some like light exercises. It was accessible and easy and already available to me. So when it comes to building habits, one of the things that we want to look for is how we can be sustainable. You know, making change in our lives isn't about what we can do occasionally, but it's about what we can do consistently, that so that it builds on top of one another. And this could be anything. This could be writing a book or reading a book or finishing a room in your house. It doesn't really matter, but what matters is what you desire. And I'm guessing that time and energy and motivation are some of the things that kind of get in the way of you creating a life that you really are proud of and want to live. And so by implementing these micro habits, a couple of things happen. One, it's a lot easier to achieve something for 10 minutes than for an hour. I know that I don't typically have the need, want, or desire to do something for a full hour. Usually it takes a lot of convincing for me to just do 10 minutes amongst everything else. And so when we make it achievable, it's something that we can motivate ourselves to do a lot easier, right? So it's reducing that barrier of motivation, reducing that barrier of time, and reducing that barrier of energy. But also, as you start to do micro habits, you start to do these 10 minutes here and there, you're going to start noticing that you feel pretty proud of yourself. Like, oh, hey, I got 10 minutes of movement in today. That's more than I did yesterday. Oh, hey, I got 10 minutes of reading in today. That's more than I expected to do today. Oh, I found 10 minutes while I was waiting for my kids to get off the bus, or, whatever your lifestyle is, to do this thing that I've been putting off. And I actually feel really good that I got done. And that's going to help you build confidence and also further motivate you towards doing more in the future. We have this big misconception with motivation that in order to be motivated to do something, that will have some sort of random burst of inspiration or energy that encourages us to do something. And that after we do that, we'll see some sort of results, and then we'll continue, climbing that ladder. But the thing about motivation is that it actually works the exact opposite than the way that we expect it to. And that in order to feel motivated, we must first have something that sparks motivation. And so if you can do a micro habit that's a little bit of something, it's going to encourage you and inspire you to take more action. So you might find yourself doing these 10-minute habits, these micro habits, more frequently, or you might find that it inspires you to go a little bit further. So let's say your barrier is energy and not time, and your barrier is motivation, and you do 10 minutes of deep cleaning one room in your house. You might find that you're like, you know what? I actually feel pretty good, and I'm pretty excited to keep going and to do more. So yeah, this has really been transformational for me, especially as I've had less time and less energy and less motivation with working more. So I hope that you can start to implement micro habits around whatever it is that you really care about, to start making strides in the direction that you're looking to go. So I hope that this serves you. If there's anything like a topic you want to hear covered on the podcast, or a question that you have, or something you're looking for support with, feel free to send an email to biancadeluco@gmail.com. And I would be super excited to be able to create an episode about that email, so that you know that you are supported and guided in whatever stage of life's journey that you're on. So thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode, and I cannot wait to connect with you again soon.